this is where that chase ended. You can see past the fence that white truck up in the air, completely turned on its side, all four wheels up in the air. Still a really heavy police presence here this morning and causing a lot of delays on 25 near Arapahoe Road. The window is absolutely shattered here at the Thirsty Lion, and there's glass all over the ground. The owner also tells me that there's a bullet hole on one of the walls inside the restaurant. You can imagine just how busy it was here in Lodo at rush hour, especially just 400 feet away from Union Station. West Metro Fire says it is possible that 24 people were using this abandoned gas station as a shelter when a fire broke out. Now that the sun has come up, we can really take a better look at what's going on here. So that roof that's supposed to be red right there, completely charred. You can see all of the black on it. And just below that roof, look at the doorway. The doorway is black. It looks like actually the door is on the ground there. The window is blown out. And just looking through those open spaces, you can see a lot of black on the inside. Since it is an abandoned apartment building, they have to check unit by unit for each of those hotspots. I want you to look at the roof up here on the north side of the building. We know that this is where the fire started, here on the north side, and you can see those firefighters at the top. We've seen investigators taking photos here at the scene by the evidence markers. It looks like there's a lot of evidence markers over there by that car, by the gas pump, and right underneath the 7-Eleven sign. It's kind of hard to see though as these cars are making their way past us. That's because they're finding a workaround here, because actually Colorado Boulevard is blocked off completely here at 35th Avenue. So take a look. You can see that crews are taking apart the plane. They're lifting it up in that crane, and then they're going to put it in this trailer nearby, so that way they can take it to Greeley to get tested a little bit more. And that's why it still looks like this. The man who lives here has also been collecting some things that he's found in his front lawn since the plane crashed. Here's that box. So he's found a couple of the pieces of the plane like this chip with some wire, and also these glasses that look like they were burned. Take a look at your screen. Do you see this big chunk that's missing out of this spruce tree back here? The NTSB says that the plane flew into that tree on the way down, made its way all the way up here, left these tracks at the sidewalk and on the road, and ended up here in this front lawn where it caught fire. But about 5 minutes ago, police got here. Now, as soon as police got here, students set up like this. Some of them are linking their arms to protect their encampment. This is exactly what they were doing earlier when police arrived and arrested 40 people. Today, no arrests and no sign of police. Definitely some signs of bad weather, though. Students have been shoveling the snow in between their tents, and some of it has melted as it's now raining this afternoon. But with all of these tents full of food, the students are hoping to brave the cold for as long as they can. We watched as crews boarded up the windows on this closer home. Now they're working on the second home. Looks like they're about halfway done boarding up the garage. People living in both of these homes will not be able to sleep in their own bed tonight. Firefighters are outside right now putting out hot spots until they decide that it's safe enough to go inside the building. But let's take a look. If you take a close look through some of the windows here, you can see the flames inside still burning. Just a few minutes ago, we watched a tow truck carry away that car that crashed. Car's gone, but you can still see some of the evidence markers here on the curb. It's these yellow arrows pointing that way. The most ironic part about all of this, check that out. That's the Lock Buoy Police Department directly across the street. Both of these tail lights are out. Looks like those are on the ground. And if I had to guess, this Nissan sign probably goes right here. Really tough scene to come back to after landing at DIA. You can see here behind me that the cars are really just piled one on top of another. I weigh a lot more than this flag, and I'm even having a hard time standing here. I've gotten kind of knocked over a couple times, and something that kind of caught me by surprise is that the wind is blowing a lot of stuff up in the air, and it's getting into my eyes and into my contacts, and it's kind of uncomfortable. There is still a little bit of hail on the ground. You can see that. Look at that. It's almost June, and look at all of this. But for the most part, the street is pretty dry here. If we turn around, though, on this side of the street, on this corner, you can see that there is a car submerged in some water still. This is how much standing water they had here. It came up to this line here right on the side. And if we head around the corner, take a look at these holes here in the bottom. These holes are from hail pounding into it. But this is all just the start of what cleanup is going to look like here today. Cars are trying to make their way in here, and if you look across, they're also trying to make their way in from over there, but those cars are pretty much just going to end up doing a circle around the parking lot because there are no spots left. We even had to park down the street. Now, we invited ourselves to a couple of the trunks as they were unloading their groceries into their cars, and some of the things were pretty surprising. Now, I know you're looking at that and thinking, well, what's the big whoop, right? Well, Here's the big whoop. I'll show you. It's not just those small little branches, it's these huge limbs too. But a good example of not really being able to see too much when you look out further is looking out over Sloan's Lake. You're supposed to see downtown Denver right back there, but downtown has disappeared. And I don't know if we sent the shortest reporter to come here so that this looks a little bit more dramatic, but standing at a towering 5'3", you can see that the snow that's been plowed is really starting to pile up here. When this plumber got to this home here in Parker, he saw something he had never seen before. The sheriff's office says that the air support is really gonna be the difference maker here. Chatfield Reservoir has been closed to boats today as 4 helicopters have come in to scoop water up and dump on that fire up there. One tanker was also dropping fire retardant. It was amazing. As soon as we got to Leadville, you can just see all of the smoke in the air. It was like a big blanket of smoke. And as you take a look behind me, it really just covers the air. You can't see the mountains. Of all of the books that have been returned here at Riverside Library in Evans, this one has everyone here scratching their heads. Isn't this view insane? I almost hate to have my back turned to it. I wish that we could do my whole live shot like this so I could soak it all in. The last hour we talked about drinks, and anyone who's not a rookie would tell you that you should probably do the food thing before the drinks, but we make our own rules here. I have Brooke Bishop with McGregor Square. Good morning. Honestly, it was getting pretty cold out there, so the girls were so gracious to invite me inside their tent. We did add a couple things. Now we finally got some pillows, some blankets, so it's looking good. This is my first rodeo with the National Western Stock Show, Jenny, and it has been a party. We just had to stop singing because we were all singing karaoke, Take Me Home, Country Road. It was great. I think we were harmonizing in here at one point. Broncos named this tailgate most valuable tailgate. That is pretty impressive, and here is why. All right, we have a full Bloody Mary and a Mimosa bar over here. We have a shot ski over here. Let's see it, boys. Come back out center, loop around Terminal East. This is all going to take more than 2 hours. Almost there. And then we'll hope that our body gets on the plane. But the bags are a different story. But right now I'm heading over to Lake Mitchell. We are going to go ice fishing. I will see you guys there. You're falling from the sky. You have beautiful northern Michigan in front of you. It's important to remember the reason this all happens. Meet Boomer. He is a 1,900-pound bull.
So I think the hardest part so far is that in the pool, you can follow the line and you know you're going straight. Down here, it's a little bit different. All you do is you look down and it's all blue. It all looks the same.
When you walk in the snow, you leave behind footprints showing your every move. Same thing happens when you step into the online world, potentially leading to your digital downfall. Just leaving Clear Sky Elementary School Monday afternoon gave kids a bad gut feeling.
We got on a bus and there was a substitute and he wouldn't let us leave the school until we stopped talking.
Getting out of the parking lot would be the least of these sisters' worries. Caitlin on the left and Kira on the right.
I'm 7, she's 10, so he finally left. And he was skipping all the kids' stop. And when I mean all the kids, I mean all the kids. And we felt like when he was driving and missing our stops, like we were getting kidnapped.
The kids say their bus driver ended up 2 miles away from the school at the corner of Wolfensberger and Auburn with a bus full of about 40 kids.
He stopped right here at this intersection, like right here. And he said, "Everybody get off my bus."
They say it was around 5 o'clock.
And then everybody was like stressing, like crying.
Getting dark and cold.
And we forgot our jackets on the bus because out of stress. Yeah, we were shivering. Me and my little sister, we live like 2 miles away from here. So we had like no idea what to do.
A stranger offered the girls a ride and helped the girls call their mom, Ashley Stark.
I was absolutely petrified. And for a stranger to call me and tell me that she had my children in the car, and they were crying and screaming and bright red and frozen.
She says it's not something she can just let go.
This wasn't an honest mistake or a slip up. There was a lot of different ways that this driver could have handled this.
Caitlin and Kira's new ride to school.
You're looking at her.
And other parents will not stop until they get to the bottom of what happened on the bus.
It was super, super scary.
It's just unfathomable, and I think that there definitely needs to be some accountability on the side of the Department of Transportation.